Okay, welcome to another edition of Hitting Buckets, our golf podcast that covers the most recent stories in golf, and we try our best to pick some winners. As usual, I'm Scott, and with me, Ryan. How's it going, Ryan?
That's going all right, Scott. It was a long day in Leafland today, but I'm excited to talk about some golf.
Yeah, notice there's no Leafs backdrop tonight. Time to move on. Another season.
Yeah, we're moving past that. We're
Yeah,
I'm used
well,
I'm used to this by now.
in the move past theme, we're going to quickly touch on last week's golf. First off, in the PGA Tour, throw a congrats to Jason Kokrak for winning the Charles Schwab Challenge. A little surprised there that he took down Spieth on Sunday, but congrats to Jason, his second PGA Tour win of the PGA season and the second win of his career. A couple other quick shout outs. I'm going to give a shout out to Bernd Wiesberger. I hope I said that right, winning over in Denmark on the Euro Tour. Shout out to Ali Ewing, who won the match play in the LPGA over in Vegas in Shadow Creek. And then on the Masters Tour, there's major, and I already forgot how to pronounce it, but I think it's Alex Cheka, something like that. But congrats to him on winning the senior PGA. Before we move on, and we're going to move on pretty quickly, Ryan, any last thoughts on this last weekend of golf?
Yeah, I mean, I was pretty locked into watching other things this week. I didn't get a whole lot of the golf in. By the end of it, I was more concerned following Abraham Answer on the app to see how he was doing for my one and done pick, and it turned out a lot of the guys behind me picked Morikawa, so it was pretty much a head to head, and they ended up finishing T14. So no harm, no foul, really. The Spieth supporters kind of passed me a little bit, so I fell to 10th in that. I don't know. I really felt like Spieth had a chokehold on it after his first round. The guy's got 8 top 10s in the last 11 starts, so I thought it was over. And he always plays well here, but I mean, Sunday was clearly a two-man race between him and what did you call him? Cockrack? I
Yeah,
think he's
Kokrak,
yeah. He cooked.
Kokrak, right?
Yeah, so he came back and took the win. I think you hit on one of your bonus plays at a pretty good number, and I hit on two of mine. So the weekend was pretty much a wash. I'm much more excited about this week's tournament, so
Yeah,
looking forward to that.
me too. Before we get to this week's tournament, we're going to do a quick little thing. We saw a lot online, like, is Spieth the best golfer? He's the number one golfer in the world. So we decided today that we would kind of name our current top five golfers in the world. I'm going to go first, and I'm going to quickly explain my reasoning, and then I'm going to throw it over to you, Ryan. But my reasoning for top five is kind of like I'm the Ryder Cup captain. Like, I'm a captain's picks five guys. I have a tournament this week. I want five guys. So currently, as we stand, who would I trust heading into a tournament right now? Top five in the world. That's how I went about it. So number one, I'm saying Jordan Spieth is number one in the world at the moment. He's just been so consistent near the top. He's got the one win, almost won the Masters. Kind of sucks he blew that on Sunday. Like, hurts the case a bit, but he's just always there. Number two, I'm saying Brooks Koepka. I think now, if you look at his most recent showing, the PGA, showing that even hurt, he's pretty much back. 2 weeks later, I trust him going into a big tournament. We got US Open coming up. I'm pretty sure he's going to be a big factor. So Brooks is my number two. Number three is JT. I really feel like he should be number one, but he's kind of fallen a bit on a few of these tournaments recently. But that performance he had at the Players Saturday, Sunday, I honestly still feel like is the best golf I've seen anyone play all year. So I'm putting JT at number three. Number four, I'm going to throw four and five together. Four is Rahm, five Xander. They kind of same sort of thing. Like, they haven't won it a bit, but they're consistently near the top. Their numbers all say they're a great golfer. I trust them to show up, give you some sort of showing. The breakthrough will come for these guys. I mean, Rahm won a couple of big tournaments last year. Xander, waiting. I'll kind of save that thought, but so that's my 4 or 5. Ryan, what do you got?
That's a good list, and I like your list. Mine's quite similar. So I got JT at one. He has a big win recently at the Players. I think he's the best iron player in the world. Lately, it seems that he can't get the putter and the driver to go, or if he's got the putter on, the driver's off. So once he gets both of those dialed in, he can win any tournament. Number two, I get Jordan Spieth here. So I think the resurgence is complete with Jordan now. He's been consistently in every tournament since the Players. Um, I mean, I'm sure it's pretty reassuring for some of these tour players that are losing their game to see the turnaround that he had. And I mean, we've seen Phil do it too. You can get it back. So I got him at 2. At 3, I got my guy Brooks. He's only at 3 because of the health concerns. This guy is a dog. He loves to win. He's good at everything, and now I think with the spotlight shining a little bit more on him with all the Bryson stuff, you got to think he's working even harder to get that knee back to where it needs to be, because when he comes back, he totally expects to dominate. Number 4, I stayed with DJ. He's the current number 1. I know he hasn't been good for a while now, but he's just one of those guys that I think he's taken this extra time off. I'm hoping that he's, I mean, you see the social media and stuff, but I'm hoping he's working on his game. He had those back-to-back 80s last year and then completely just turned it around. So I can see him doing that again. And then rounding out, I have Xander. I just think he's one of the best players in the world. I think we're about to see a run in tournaments that Xander contends, and I think in one of the next 3 starts, he's gonna win these tournaments. So that's my top 5 guys I want to go to battle with.
Yeah, so pretty similar. You look at these lists, we're pretty much along the same lines. I mean, the ROM for DJ, obviously, DJ just hasn't done enough for me recently by my logic that I need someone in current form. But you're right. I think it was about this time last year we went 80-80 and then had a withdraw, and then he turned into the most dominant stretch of golf that we've had since like Tiger Woods. So he could turn it on at any point.
I think the biggest thing in this conversation is that there's no clear-cut number 1 golfer in the world right now, and we're lucky to have 10 or so guys that can just come out and win any week.
Yeah, I agree. It's good for fans like us. I know the general public flocks to the Tigers of the world, and when Spieth may be more dominant, but I enjoy having 5 guys like this. And then you throw on a Rory, you throw on a Bryson who you love to hate, and then maybe you got Morikawa and Hovland entering the conversation of some young guns.
Matthew Wolff.
Matthew Wolff, Patrick Cantlay. Yeah, but there's lots of guys knocking on the door. Okay, let's move on to this week's tournament. We got the Memorial, Jack's tournament. I really like tournaments like this. It's sandwiched right in the middle of 2 majors. It's I believe it's called an elevated event. So it's an invitational. It's got a little bit more prize money than a regular one, but not quite a major. You get almost major type quality field. We're gonna have 7 of the top 10 in, like 35 of the top 50. So really strong field. A lot of people's last time to tune up before the next major, which is 2 weeks away, the US Open. A couple things on the Memorial. The whole course just went through a recent overhaul, complete renovation. Jack wanted to make some improvements, so put a little length on the course, repositioned some bunkers, kind of fixed all the greens. So might play a little differently. The course history research, buyer beware, but I still think course history plays little, but again, more on that later. Heading into this, the betting favorite by quite a bit, honestly, even with Spieth, JT in the field, is Jon Rahm, and he's the defending champion here. So that being said, I'm going to let you go first, Ryan, to give me your outright plays for the Memorial.
Yeah, so like you touched on a bit for Memorial, the house that Jack built. It was last year that 2 tournaments in a row were played here. They had the Workday that Morikawa won a week before, and then the Memorial followed with Rahm's win. The Workday played a lot easier than the Memorial did. I think with the changes that we're going to see, you can expect this to be somewhere in the middle. A lot of the guys this week are going to be similar guys that I play in 2 weeks again in Torrey. This course has a real U.S. Open feel to it. So to start my outrights, I'm going first with Viktor Hovland at 18-1. So I really struggled with which guy on the top of the board I wanted to play. My initial thoughts were Hovland, and then that's before I saw any of the numbers. And then when I saw the 18, I was kind of thrown off a bit. I didn't realize that, like, when did this happen? When did he jump into these numbers? I mean, he hasn't won yet this year, but to see him this low and above guys like Alexander and Hideki was kind of weird. But the other guy I wrestled with was Bryson, and I always said to myself, the next course that we're gonna play, that its distance is a big deal and has some thick rough. I was like, that's gonna be my Bryson play, but I just have more faith in Hovland right now. I know Bryson's first in strokes gained off the tee, but Hovland's fourth. He didn't do so well at Kiowa, but it just seems that he struggles on these Pete Dye designs. Most of the field struggled at Kiowa, so it doesn't worry me a whole lot. But I think a win's coming here for Vic. And like I said, I don't like the number, but at a spot where it looks like this number might be staying around for a while, I think maybe he's going to break through here. So he's my first pick. My second pick is going to be Patrick Cantlay. So he's at 22-1. A funny stat that probably means nothing unless it means everything is that the last time Kokrak won, Cantlay won the following week. So two of Cantlay's top 4 career stroke gain approach weeks have come at Memorial. So he's got a good run here. He's at a T6 at Workday last year, and then a T32 at the Memorial. So he really likes this course. He likes the track. He's got 3 top 10 finishes here. He's got a win here. He's third in scrambling this season, which I think is going to be an important metric here on the weekend. And as much as I can ignore the bad showing at Kiowa for some guys, like I mentioned with Victor, a good showing means a lot too. And he played real well at the PGA. So again, with him, I was looking for a better number, but I really think his skill set matches up here. And then the last guy I'm going to play is Tony Finau at 28-1. So again, it just kind of seems like a place that suits his game. He's played well here historically. He was a 36-hole leader here last year. Another guy that he's hitting the ball really well, but he needs a hot putting week to kind of secure a win. So a good follow on Twitter is a guy named Andy Lack, and I heard him say this stat. So the last time that Finau lost 4 strokes putting, which he did last week at the Colonial, he gained 4.6 the next week and almost won a tournament. So like I said, all 3 of these guys that I'm playing this week I got my eye on them all again at Torrey. I'm hoping that one of these guys can take down this win, and then I can take them off my list here at the U.S. Open.
All right. I just want to make a quick little comment here. I think Vic was +1 at the PGA and Phil won at -6. He didn't play too badly at Kiowa. He was a couple mistakes away from being in a Sunday TV position, but so yeah, I just want to give Vic a little shout out there that he played a little better. You give him credit for. Okay, my first pick, and you've already hit on a couple names that I'm going to play, but I'm going to go right at Xander Schauffele, 23-1. I enjoy that Xander is no longer in the teens that he was earlier in the year. I'm getting him at least in the 20s. A couple weeks ago, I did predict Xander was going to be the breakout guy in the second half of this season. So it's got to start somewhere. So I'm hoping that it's here at the Memorial. A couple stats that he's really good at that seem relevant this week are par 5 scoring and par 4 scoring 450 to 500 yards. He's really good at that. Also sand saves, another stat that he's near the top at, which these new bunkers at Memorial, hopefully this comes in handy and some scrambling around the greens. Another thing about Memorial, you said it's a good comp for US Open, but I'm seeing a lot of comps on Augusta as well, same sort of course. And Xander obviously recently just came 3rd there, came tied 15th Wells Fargo. So the recent form is there, the stats are there. We all know he has the game. So It's time, Xander. I picked you as the breakout guy. Let's get it started here at the Memorial. Second one, a guy you also mentioned, uh, was Hideki. I have him at 26-1. Right off the top, I might as well hit the Masters comp because he's our reigning Masters champion. So there's that. He's course history. He won here in 2014. He came sixth here in 2019 and 15th in 2018. Not great last year, but I remember Hideki did not start very well after the restart, so I'm kind of throw last year's performance out the window. But good course history. Obviously, he's got great hands around the green. Just have to hope the putting holds up enough. That's Hideki's story because he's always going to be a great ball striker. Just has a good putting week and he'll have a chance. And my last outright is Matthew Fitzpatrick. This one, I mean, he was really hot earlier in the season uh, through the Florida swing. And then he had another bounce back, great tournament at the Heritage with the top five. But oh yeah, and the key last year he came third at the Memorial, and that Sunday final round where everyone was in the 70s. I can't remember exactly what happened, but I remember the conditions were terrible, and he shot 4 under that day. So
Yeah.
I don't know if that's relevant to this year if the weather's better, but
It was, I don't know if you remember watching it. It was, I think Rom shot a 74 and still won by a few strokes that day. So the wind was crazy that day.
yeah, and to be honest, the Cantley thing too. I think Cantley shot like 8 over, so he actually didn't
Yeah.
play as bad at the Memorial as he finished. Like he came 30th, but I think he was in the top 8 heading into that final round. But more of a field pick with Fitzpatrick. I feel like he's due. Um, have some family members pushing me in the direction, so a little shout out where we decided to make him our third outright. Okay, what else do you got me other than some winners?
Are we going to our bonus picks here?
We are.
All right. So I'm going to start off, not to beat a dead horse, but I love your Xander pick, and I'm going to take him to finish top five. I mean, it's no secret I'm the captain of the Xander fan club. One thing that he is a great bunker player. I think that's going to come into play here. And he's first in the field in strokes gained par fives. You got to score on the par fives on this course. Getting birdies is going to be at a premium, so you got to score on the par fives. He's got a great record here. T13, T14 are his last two finishes. So I don't know if he's going to win here, but like I said, I think he's either winning here or at Torrey. So I want to get a piece of it either way. My second pick is Jason Day at 450 to be the top Aussie. So he's actually a member here at Muirfield. So it's a little bit of home game for him. I mean, that we've seen already this year. It doesn't always go so well. Palmer didn't do so good at his home track. Kokrak won at Shadow Creek. He's a member there. So it can go either way. But Day does play well here. He's got two top tens here last year, both at the Workday and Memorial back to back. So he's got to beat some big hitters in the Aussies, your boy Cam Smith, and then Adam Scott, I think, could have a good week here too. So, and then my third play is going to be Shane Lowry to top 20 at 2.87. So one of the good comp courses to Muirfield. We mentioned the Masters at Augusta. We mentioned Torrey, but a lot of people are also bringing up Firestone Country Club. So that's also in Ohio. Lowry won there. He won the WGC Bridgestone Invitational 5 years ago. So he's a great scrambler. Really good form. I don't think I've ever played Lowry, so that's a little bit exciting. It just kind of seems right for the Irishman to play well here in Dublin, Ohio. And then I'm going to go over to the LPGA US Open here for my bonus pick this week. And I'm going to go with Danielle Kang at 19-1. So the Open's being played at Olympic Club in San Francisco. So a little bit of a home game for Kang. She grew up in California, played college golf at Pepperdine in Malibu. So coming off a decent finish at the match play. She's ranked 6th in the world. I just think it suits, this course suits her well. And I played her boyfriend Maverick McNeely last week, and he played all right. So I'm hoping she does a little bit better.
All right. Let's show the recap of those picks up. Shoffley top 5, Lowry top 20, Jason Day top Aussie. Forgot to mention my guy Leishman on the Aussie pick.
You're right, I did.
All right, let's go into my other plays. We'll leave this up here. First one, I just want to take one of the guys in the top of the leaderboard, top 10, JT, Just Thomas. I'm not going to really dive too deeply into that. We talked about him, how talented he is. So just feel like 2.62 to 1, top 10, JT. I'm all over that. Billy Horschel has been playing really well this year, top 20 at 3 to 1. Was thinking about taking him as a longer outright, settled on just playing him here at the top 20. I can't say his name every time we start recording, but Neiman, nationality plays I've been good at. That's some of my higher hits. So I didn't see a lot I liked this week, but for top South American, I took Neiman. Munoz, I can't imagine he stays good 2 weeks in a row. And Grillo, kind of same thing. And then I think the fourth guy, geez, can't even remember the fourth South American. He has to beat 3, and 2 of them were hot last week. So Neiman's consistent.
I think it's Carlos Ortiz.
No, it's Camilo Vigas.
Uh,
That's Ortiz is Mexican. So
that's right.
Neiman, like I said on a previous pod, longest active cut making streak. So I like how he just seems to be in it. So I feel like those other guys could miss the cut. So I'm taking Neiman top South American, 2.37 to 1. And to the LPGA, another one where I'm 2 for 2 picking on the LPGA on this pod. And I want to go Patty Tavatanakit outright, but she did win the first major of the year. I feel like it's tough to win 2 majors in a row, obviously. So I kind of wimped out a bit. I'm going Patty T for top 5 at 7 to 1. It's a US Open. And if it's anything like the men's US Open where they make it about driving, Patty T's third in driving distance. She's 11th in putting. She's third in sand saves and 17th in bogey avoidance. All stats I like for a US Open type layout. So that's my LPGA pick, top 5, 7 to 1. Okay. One and done. Ryan, give me a little recap because obviously we know I'm way out of it. You were in third last week. You mentioned Answer. So where do you stand right now?
Yeah, so I played Answer last week and I wrestled with either him or JT. Turned out to be a good decision to save JT for later. His Answer finished ahead of him, but the guy above me played Spieth. The guy in first, the guy in second, and like everyone below me played Morikawa. So once I realized that, and then my guys weren't actually winning the tournament last week, I was really more focused on the Morikawa against Answer, and I think I was lucky to get that wash there. So looking at this week, I'm currently in 10th. Like a lot of the guys that had Spieth kind of came up and passed me a little bit, but I think I'm 850,000 out of first place. So if I can get a winner and the guy in first doesn't, then I can get up pretty quick. So kind of wrestling with 2 guys this week. Right now I'm leaning towards Vic. But I also really like how Cantley shapes up at this course. I really like Cantley's short game a lot better than Vic's, but Vic's just been playing so well. And you kind of tipped me off to something where we only have, I think, 7 tournaments left in the Mayo Cup. So if I don't play Vic here, can't see him playing next week. He's going to play the U.S. Open, but I got my eyes on someone else for that. And then I think he's heading across the pond for a little bit, so I might not get a chance again. So I want to get him in. I think he can do good, but the Cantley thing's kind of weighing on me too. What do you think, anyway?
I'm a little torn this week because I usually, even if I don't pick Vic on pods, I pretty much play him every week because I have him in other things. And he's one of my favorite players.
Yeah, he's your Xander for me, basically.
Yeah. So I'm not playing him this week because of the number in the teens, and I know I'll return to him. But one and done's a whole other story. You throw out those odds, it's about one tournament. Who cares? I would be taking Vic over Cantley just because Cantley, obviously, I had falling out with him, but last time he was this hyped, it was before the Masters, and we all know what happened there. But for what it's worth, my one and done is Hideki. I like, and I know this will probably blow up in my face, but I feel like he's so consistent at events like this. Like anything that's like an elevated event, a WGC or a major, it's like you know you're getting at least a decent performance out of Hideki. But to be fair to Vic, I think he's kind of that guy too. Like I know he missed the cut at the Players, but that was because that stupid self penalty. But other than that,
Pete Dye. He
he's
doesn't. He can't play Pete Dye courses. I don't know
but
what it is.
but even that, if he didn't have that penalty on himself, he would have been right where JT was after Friday. So like
True. Yeah.
I like Hovland. I'll just be upset if he wins this week and it's the 1 week I don't play him. Special shout out to Cam Smith. I'm also not playing him this week, who I usually always play. And all of a sudden, I'm seeing his name prop up on people's cards and how he's great around the greens. And then now it's making me think, do I have to up my betting this week? But if Cam or Vic win on a week I don't play them, I'll be pretty upset.
Can you
But
take Cam to be the second best Australian? That'd be a good bet.
well, that's why I couldn't be on board. I saw the Jason Day stuff and I thought about playing him as a top 20 maybe, but to take him over Leishman and Smith, two guys who I've been pretty heavy on lately. Not to mention Adam Scott's dangerous. I looked at the Aussie one and I just said I'm staying away from that altogether. But back to Vic, I think you go Vic over Cantley. I think he's I think one thing we failed to mention, this has historically been a tournament where a young guy breaks through. Hideki 2014, Bryson 2018, Cantley 2019, younger pros. This is a big win, that kind of breakthrough here. It's got Vic's name all over it if you kind of use that comparison. I
Yeah,
mean,
I like
even
it.
Rahm last year is not an old guy, and
Yeah,
Morikawa at the workday, another young star. So it's kind of fits the profile.
yeah. No, I like it.
Okay, I think that's all we got for this week. Definitely time for a winner for me. I'm due. I know you had the Rory one a few weeks ago, but excited. I'm going to watch a lot of the women's golf this week with the major and definitely a lot of the Memorial. Best of luck and talk to you next week, Ryan.
All right, Scott. Later.